Every 9 months, Venus, the planet of love and beauty and kindness and peace, will come into the sky birthed either as a morning star or an evening star. And this is what is just about to happen around December 1st and 2nd, where she is going to become a visible morning star, shining her sparkly diamond in the very early part of the evening, just after the sun sets. And as she does this new rising as the evening star, she will bless all of us in some bold expansion, adventurous love, new territory in our lives, because she is moving in her rising through the sign of Sagittarius. So we're going to talk about what that might mean for you, because it's in play until August, around August 5th, when she becomes invisible again, as she gets ready to be born again. And that will be later, being born again in Leo, and she'll come out the other end as the morning star. But this evening star, this is a very sweet spot in the sky, and in your life and in my life and each of our lives. She's opening up a new sense of relief, a new sense of joy, and something special that's going to unfold between this December 1st, 2nd, and the early days of August. All right. And she's taking cue from her death in the heart of the sun when she was Cazimi at 29 Libra on October 22nd. So it's a bit of that story in its most visible form. So we'll talk about that for your sign, and best to listen for your rising, of course, because your rising sign is when you came into the world. It's your like timestamp on reality. So your rising sign will always have more accuracy, but you can listen as well for your sun and your moon. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm a Hellenistic astrologer using the Western tropical zodiac. I also am particularly fond of asteroids. And if you're new to my channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. I post 20 to 30 videos a month. You want to know when I do that, because I often am there live in the premiere with you, where we discuss the content together. I enjoy forming community on YouTube, and I listen to your comments. I read them all. I respond. This is a community space for me. I hope you'll join me. All right, so let's talk about what Venus is as a general principle before we talk about your sky in this all signs video. She does have the quality of being a benefic planet, especially if you're born at night. She's considered the benefic insect for night babies. How do you know if you're born at night? Well, obviously, if you're born at 4 a.m., it's nighttime. But if you're born when the sun is below the ascendant descendant horizon line of your natal chart. And so if that's the case, then you're a night baby, and she's sort of your fairy god mother, whereas you're born in the day. Jupiter has more potency, even he's another benefic, the greater benefic, and we'll call him your fairy godfather. So fairy godmother Venus is rising, is going to be visible to our naked eye sometime around December 1st or 2nd, depends on where you live. And as she does that, she's coming into her little tiny bit of light in the morning and the evening sky within the sign of Sagittarius. She rises around 19, 20, 21 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, this part of the sky is pretty quiet. There's not a lot of stars there. There is a star named Atria, and Atria is associated by one writer from the 1920s as a star of psychic receptivity and a connection to the divine guidance system. So keep that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. Atria was not one of the major stars used by the ancients. It was not a part of the cadre of ancient fixed stars like the navigational stars, but nonetheless, it is there. One thing I like about Venus's rising this time is that she's rising in a basic wedge formation, where she's opposite Mars in the sign, Mars retrograding in the sign of Gemini, and she's sextiling Saturn. Sorry, I just had the flu, so my brain's a little off. She's sextiling Saturn. You can really tell I had the flu. She's sextiling Saturn in Aquarius. And so there's this formation of a flow to Saturn, the god of structure and tangible reality. And when Saturn and Venus talk together in any way, you can use these kinds of thought patterns. Enduring beauty. Oh, I should find my astrology book by Red Butler. Enduring beauty, sober love, lasting love, stern and disciplined art. Let's see what he will say about it. One of my favorite books. We're doing all signs, hang in there. But this is The Archetypal Universe by Red Butler, one of my teachers, really fond of this book. And basically, I studied with him for 6 months last year. I don't know how long it was, a long time. And I'm in his class again this year. I just love learning new astrology types of astrology. But Venus in sextile to Saturn as she becomes visible suggests a flavor. It's kind of baked into the sky, where you could argue that between this part of the month, early, the first week of December, when she's first visible, all the way through to her invisibility in the first week of August, that she carries a signature of having an alignment of flow and ease. A sextile is the nature of Venus herself, with the god of structure. And so when you put those two together, you really have to think, when it comes to love stories, she wants enduring, lasting love, marathon love, friendly love. When it comes to art and beauty, she wants things that have lasting qualities. Saturn is like the legacy guy. Does it go the distance? Does it endure? Will it stand the test of time? Same with love. Same with ways you're going to make money. Those questions may be germane. And of course, she's opposite Mars. Now, Mars and her are like the cosmic lovers, and that's about a lot of feisty energy. Like if a love affair starts in the first week of December, watch out, because it'll be hot, it'll be intense, but it may not last. Okay, so I'm just looking for that Venus piece. Give me a minute, where I see what he would say when you pair up that goddess of love with and beauty and peace with Saturn. All right, and you wouldn't know it, just when I'm looking, it's not easy to find. Why are we talking Venus Saturn, right? Because this is just like Venus Saturn sextile in the first week of December. It doesn't last, because she's rising into the evening sky here as a visible evening star, very soft. The morning star is a warmongering version of Venus. And that's during the Ukraine war. We had, all kinds of stuff going on in the last 9 months. Every 9.5 months, she will become either an evening star or a morning star. And when she was a morning star, she is prone to war, according to the ancients. She's in her Athena warrior aspect, instead of her soft Aphrodite, goddess of love, coming out of the clamshell, the more traditional Venus qualities. So principles of Venus Saturn, according to Ren Butler in archetypal astrology land: satisfactory relationships and quality time. There's Chronos. Feelings of responsibility and commitment in our relationship life, working partnerships, a blending of beauty and integrity. Relationship tests can happen with this, but no, I'm not going to go the darker side, because it's a sextile. So it's blending in very beautiful and harmonious ways. Okay. He does say there can be urges with this energy for security and stability in your life, for working partnerships and marriages, connections that have mutual respect. Stirring the oatmeal type love. Now, I like that, stirring the oatmeal type love. Impulses toward loyalty and faithfulness, monogamy and commitment, enduring solid love, emotional maturity, long-term relationships, quality time, appreciation of other people's company. Don't forget, Venus also rules friendships, right? And it's almost like, I have to say, Saturn being somewhat the perfectionist and sort of the one with the eye for the long game. He's like, if this friendship is going to last, all right, this is a test of this friendship. Saturn, Venus, sextile. So some of your friendships are going through a test of their endurance. Is this the right relationship? Is this the right friendship? When it comes to money-making endeavors, what else? Probably you're going to want to make money in ways that are enduring, that stand the test of time, not fly-by-night, get rich quick schemes. No, that's not going to work. Not with this particular Venus rising into the evening sky. So she's being born again, but I have to say, you have to remember that for the first time since 1879, she entered into the heart of the sun in order to effect this rebirth in 29 degrees of Libra on October 22nd. So as I go through all signs, I'm going to remind you of the part of your sky where she died and the part of your sky where she's rising, because the rebirth is just as important as the death and rebirth. Both of those areas of your sky are playing out thematically until the first week of August, around the 5th or the 6th, will she become invisible again as she gets ready in August to die in the heart of the sun in Leo and be born again as a morning star after that. So that's a story for another video, or check out my 2022 All Signs, because they're not quite out yet. I haven't released them, but when I do, I'll talk a bit about that aspect. And if you're new here, and if you're one of my old timers, especially if you're listening in the live premiere, please hit my like button in the live premiere, help the channel grow, get the algorithm to love me up. Please consider looking at my description box if you're new to my channel. There's a lot of stuff that I give away for free, and like my Meanings of the Houses PDF, how to cast your chart yourself using free online software to find out your rising sign and do it in whole sign houses, and a bunch of other gifts. And if you want to learn astrology with me, I'm just finishing up my Sky Reader 6-week intro course to 8-week intro course to astrology. But next year, the first big astrology class in February that I'm teaching is my Divine Timing Masterclass class. It's a little bit more advanced, but if you think you're an advanced beginner or early intermediate, you might want to jump in and learn some ancient and divine timing tools to help you navigate your life with greater ease and flow. So check it out. Waitlist information, description box below. Okay, let's roll. All signs. Let me show you the screen. For the world, this could affect a peace in the Ukraine. All right. There's no two ways about it. And it's also a Venus rising on the USA Sibley chart ascendant, not right on it, but in the same area of the chart, Sagittarius. So the United States could be involved in bringing some kind of peace to a warlike situation because Mars is on the known enemies part of the US chart, and Venus is working with Saturn, the lord of conservative and legacy and time, to bring something to hopefully a solution. Those things could be happening as we watch this Venus rise in December. Okay, so let's talk about the themes that are playing out. Don't forget, this isn't just December. Please remember, this is kind of like a theme that will take until August to show throughout your sky. All right, so let's go into Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Boy, that flu was a doozy. Like, God, can't make this stuff up, guys. Anyway, yeah, I had Mars trine Saturn, and I got COVID in last week of September, and then Mars trine Saturn now, and just as it started up, I got the flu. So obviously the universe has got a message for me. I just have to really tune into what the frig that's about. All right, Aries, I'm one of you. This is for Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign people. First of all, the death of Venus, where she died in the heart of the sun, where she had her Cazimi moment on the 22nd of October, is in your significant other relationships of your 7th house over here. Now, that can simply mean that you're going to have, over the next few months, as a part of this Venus rising until August, a significant development in the house of primary love relationships. And if you're a single Aries, sun, moon, or rising, you're likely to experience some kind of very important, exciting new relationship, or business partnership, or ability to reach out and impact a client audience marketplace. 10th from the 10th, your 7th house does that. And so all of those things are lovely. And yet, tying in with it is Venus rising in your 9th. And your 9th has to do with foreign lands and shores and court cases and book publishing and things to do with your dharma, your purpose, your spiritual philosophy. If you teach anything like I do, and this is a house of teaching. If you want to learn, this is a house of learning. So Venus is helping you with expanding your horizons in learning and teaching. But don't forget, she does this new promise with some support from Saturn. Looks like a lot of support energy coming into the narrative, particularly until about March the 7th, with people in high places, support from friends as allies, benefactors, and to some extent, she can help you generate some lasting gains in your career, the long game money that you want to generate as greater gains from your career and purpose, not just as no quick, get rich quick, no flash in the pan. This is how the long game financially is trying to be played out. And Venus is showing you the way to an enduring and reliable and lasting source of greater gains from your career. If you wish to travel to a foreign land, a love can show up because of that journey, or somebody from a foreign land, foreign culture, foreign religion, foreign language, different skin color, like phenotype, right, can show up in your life as a significant new love story between early December, as she's becoming this beautifully visible sky event, little diamond just after the sun sets, and all the way through until August, when she's going to reset her story again as a new beginning and a new type of Venus. You may also, because she's the goddess of friendships, travel or connect with women from abroad or foreign lands or foreign countries, or travel with women to that place. And no, don't forget, we're not talking about the first week of December or so only. We're talking about a story that could take place much longer, that can take place through to August. What foreign land will you adventure to? I'm planning to be in Scotland, I think, next year in the summer. So there's an example. And I'm, Aries, sun and moon. So the opposition to Mars down in your 3rd house. I mean, Venus is going to kind of win the day, in my humble opinion. Mars is weaker because he's retrograding, and Venus is in the top of the sky, which gives her strength. And so I'd say things like, you know, even though this is passionate, like you might have a passionate writing project, a passionate communications project, you're doing it kind of back behind the scenes right now, because until January 12th, Mars is retrograde. So she's not really saying like right now, this is a story, but later on, she may be baking in a promise of an really incredibly exciting travel agenda coming up after January 12th to August, an exciting movement towards getting a lot of things done creatively and artistically to do with websites, social media, and especially the art of writing. You may be going back already and knowing that you're going to write something you've written before. I'm going to go back and revise a novel I started a couple of years ago. And Venus in the house of book publishing, oh my goodness gracious, she could bring you an editor, an agent, a really good contact for that. For any of you Aries who are in the writing mode, yay you. This is a great time to trust Venus's potential to bring you something very, very sweet. And she is rising in a gentle way here. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't have any malefics bearing down on her. So it feels really auspicious for book publishing endeavors. All right. This is going to be for all of you Tauruses. Rising sign most accurate. I always say that. So people ask me in the comments, I'm like, don't you listen? I keep saying, my mouth jaw is sore from saying, especially rising sign most accurate. And then Taurus sun and moon secondarily. Okay, so you guys under a lot of eclipse stress, you and the Scorpio people. So I'm not even going to address how intense your life has been, but at least the Venus, the Lord of the eclipse cycle, you know, is the one who's rising, and Venus is your planet, right? She's your number one. She's your Lord of your ascendant. And so she's an important player in your story. She died in the heart of the sun and Cazimi'd out on the 22nd of October, 29 Libra, in your sixth house of debt, karmic and real, your sixth house of work and work routines, service, health protocols, illness, sickness, and ways to prevent it. When she died there, she's giving you a promise of some sort that it's actually going to last 4 years until she has her next meeting with the sun here. And actually, it's going to be longer than that. It's going to be 8 years, but let's not go there. But it's quite a longer term promise. But also, she is giving you a shorter term promise until the middle of August or early August, when she's invisible, that there's developments going on in your sixth house that are positive. This is good for your health. Okay. Venus is a benefic, and she's offering you solutions and return to greater health for all Tauruses, sun, moon, but especially rising. Then on top of that, and second to that, she's rising in your eighth house of other people's money. This is your inheritances and your spousal money and your bank loans and your mortgages and your credit card debt. Given that her Cazimi was in the sixth house and her rise is in the eighth, some of you will be able to eliminate all debt or any debt or a lot of debt from your life. This is also an opportunity to rise in a greater way, be successful, and see better outcomes when it comes to your bank loans and your mortgages and money that you owe other people, like you share with others, leveraged money, right? You don't really owe the bank the money, you borrowed it in order to do something. You can have royalty income. You can have sudden windfalls here. If there's a legacy wealth due you, if someone's going to pass, and I won't get too much into that, but in June, July, October, September, Venus will spend a lot of time in the house of property and real estate and legacy wealth as well. So you could have some developments later on in the year as you approach the summer, but before August, with some successful outcomes regarding property, loans and mortgages, also legacy wealth and inheritances. This is a really good time, but be cautious around making money in the stock market. She's rising in your eighth house of investment monies in the markets, but not yet. You've got Mercury out of dignity here, and that's not a good thing. I'm not saying jump into the markets now and whatever you do, because they haven't hit a bottom, but I'm saying the long game between rising in December and then later on, right? Way later on, as we move towards, let's say, the spring. There's some possibility, especially then, of finding some really good stock pickings if you have cash as king. Long story short, Venus is helping you see the way forward when it comes to money. And this includes spousal assets, inheritances, alimony, spousal support. Those sorts of monies are involved. Benefic, helping you, supporting you, but also returning you to greater health and vitality, as well as elimination of some of your burdens that may feel like job drudgery. Anything that feels like a duty, a drudgery, like a bit of like servitude in your life instead of service can be lightened up All right. By the time you get to the middle of the summer into the early part of August. And Saturn is saying, let's stabilize your reputation. Let's stabilize your career. Let's stabilize your actions that you take in the world that make them more prosperous for you, especially given Mars has been spending the bejesus out of your money, and money's been going through your fingers ever since August 20th. And now all of a sudden there's this turning energy that Venus is a part of. No more spending, no more like letting it like slip through or having to spend it or having it fall away from you. Mars is also a part of that narrative. So Saturn says, let's stabilize the money, let's stabilize the finances, and let's create a stronger connection to the way your money is moving in your life through your proper career channel. All right, moving forward. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So I'm progressed Gemini, so I get this. I'm a part of you guys. Progressed ascendant in Gemini and secondary progressions. Okay, so what's happening here? Venus died in the heart of the sun, and she died in the heart of the sun in Libra for the first time in 110 so years, more than that. Well, 1879. Someone else do the math. And she's definitely going to be offering you some profound new beginnings as she's like died in your 5th house regarding the creative, artistic, and muse-driven process, your independent business enterprise, your joy, your sexuality and romance, and your relationship to your children, as well as fertility and pregnancy. And this promise that Venus gives you as a Gemini rising, especially Sun and Moon less so, but true, you can listen to all, is that in your 7th house of primary love and business partnerships, she's now rising. And she's rising in December and saying until the early part of August, you rise here. Now, to rise here, she could be like, oh my goodness, this is like the what do you call it? The madmen position. I mean, Venus here is very persuasive and charismatic. So you can like basically put on a marketing, a promotional, persuasive energy to your marketplace audience clients and do very well all the way through until next August. Very germane for people for whom that is a part of your career path. But it's also going to say you're rising in significant business and love relationships. So if you're single, don't forget, she kind of kaboomed it with a Cazimi in the house of sexuality and romance. So and now she's rising in the house of committed love. It suggests a possibility for a lot of Gemini people rising, especially of a new solid committed love. And why would it be committed and solid versus just a romantic fling? Because the 7th house is about the vows of commitment, and Saturn's participating. Saturn, again, enduring love, lasting love, monogamous love, yada, yada, especially in a sextile to Venus. So this is Saturn in your 9th house. So love in a court case environment, love in a book publishing environment, love in a library, love on a trip to a foreign land, love while you're getting your visa processed at the passport office, love, connected to some person who's from a foreign land. So some of those themes could happen. And you can also say that if you're looking for a promotional edge, because you share things with the world, you're promoting things that Saturn is giving a stamp of approval, deeply true and wise content, nothing superficial here, not with Saturn in the 9th house. Okay. So keep that in mind. And then of course we have Mars in your 1st house, and this has been making you an effective decision maker and more action taking and less confused and fickle and less changing your mind. But until he goes direct on the 12th of January, you're in an inner process. You're going through your inner inventory, making inside decisions. You're not necessarily executing those decisions on the outer world. I'll give you an example for me. I made it an inner decision to cut my readings calendar back next year dramatically. Right now I'm booked out until February, and that's on my old booking schedule, and that's on my old booking rates. And it's, when you think about that, I know Stephen Forrest has that problem. He goes like, I'm booked out 2 years in advance. Well, what the frig? What if he dies? He's taking the money in when you book him, and then he's not there anymore. I mean, is the estate going to settle that out? So I'm more like, okay, well, I'm already booked out until February. And, and I've got the money, but I haven't done the work. And it's just not that satisfying, honestly, that vibe. And I don't want to see that many clients. So I made an inner decision, I'm a progress Gemini ascendant, to cut my calendar way back, maybe change my rates so that I'm seeing less people, but not losing the income and that kind of thing, with what the market will bear. I know one astrologer who tries to charge 500 or wants to charge 700 does charge maybe 500. And these rates are not in the normative. Even Stephen Forrest isn't charging that much, and he's been around since the dinosaurs. So poor Stephen, may bless his soul, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so that was an example. That was just to help you understand. I don't always want to talk about me, but what inner decisions are you making that you'll execute after January the 15th? Venus is saying, and those inspire you. Those bring, come on, Venus and Mars opposition isn't all bad. It's like, it's exciting. It's passionate. It's fired up energy. You're making decisions because they're going to fire you up. Things are going to look good and feel good after this. Okay. No, any downsides? Not really. Legal contracts are also of the 7th house because we make a vow, we make a contract, we sign on the dotted line. Venus is bonifying those contractual agreements for you. Yay, Venus. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. So you guys, reminding you that the Venus death point, dying in the heart of the sun to be reborn on October 22nd, 29 Libra, 4th house of home and real estate. This can very significantly be a new home is coming for you, a dramatic change of home. When? Until as late, well, it can have a 4-year promise, but a lot of the action might show up by mid-August. So I think about my Cancer rising sister in her home in Ontario. I would love to buy a property with her, for example, and her husband. So that could be something like that happening, just an example. But, long story short, Venus is like dramatically giving you a positive new beginning, death, rebirth archetype blessing in your 4th house of home and land and real estate and property and things that are happening in your home. Certainly you'll get a more beautiful home, be able to decorate it, repaint it, get more juice going in the next few months, especially until early August. Now she's rising as that demure and gentle evening star that we associate with Aphrodite, the goddess of love, art, and beauty, the real traditional Venus. She's rising in your 6th house of health protocols, sickness, debt, karmic and real, ways that you do the daily work that you do. Given there's a 4-6 connection, it can be environment of your home is supporting you to do more refined, more joyful, more adventurous, more satisfying work at home or from home for some Cancer rising sun and moon. And also you may find that this is a solution time over the next few months to a health challenge, and Venus will help show you the way to solve the problem. With support from Saturn financially in your 8th house to bring you the financial means that you need from shared resources with a spouse or a mortgage or a bank loan or business monies from a business partnership. So it's also going to look like some kind of financial goodness connected to your work, connected to your joint resources and financial resources that I described to you. And yet it's solid, reliable, safe energy, cautious energy, Saturn sextiling Venus. Again, this is not buying an altcoin that's going to crash. They're all crash anyway. It's something very more about, let's say, finding this investment structure that pays you 8% and you're going to jump on it in the next 8 months, but it's going to help you because it's going to help you work less hard and more smart. And yet also for some of you, this is definitely mortgage monies to finance, refinance, buy a new home, change your home. Venus is rising in the house of rentals. Are you going to rent a property out, rent a room in your house out? Are you going to rent a new home? For some of you Cancers, that's also a story that's taking place until August. Now, Mars is in the opposite sign, the 12th, and this is where your own self-undoing is, your self-defeating, sabotaging behaviors, patterns, addictions. And you may find that this is going to be Mars and Venus collaborating to get rid of your own ways of sabotaging your health, basically. But you're excited, you're imbibing a vigorous of yay me. Wait till after January 12th for this to be true. Mars is retrograde. So right now you may not see what I'm talking about, but you might realize you have to just drop that one bad habit that you no longer need in order to live long and prosper. All right, Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. In your sky, Venus died in the heart of the sun back in October. Hang on a sec. Oh, I just had that thing. Am I recording? If you watch my channel, my regulars know this is my constant question to myself. I am losing the light here and I don't have my lighting kit. So I'm kind of blurry. Oh my God. Back to you guys, Leo. By the way, if you're in the chat box with me and this is a live premiere, please hit the like button. That does help the channel grow. And when my channel grows, I have a sustainable career. If I have a sustainable career, I can put more content out and continue to do this. So like button me up, please. That was so helpful if you do that. You won't believe how much a difference it makes. The more likes during a premiere, especially, the better the video does right afterwards. That's the YouTube algorithm. Where did it go? Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Leo people, Venus died in the heart of the sun in your third house of siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, skills-based learning, knowledge and skills-based knowledge, short trips and travel. Now there's a suggestion here because it's a benefic thing, right? Venus is a benefic, a stronger, more positive development regarding siblings or extended family members and your relationship to them, the potential for more trips and travel because of this placement, the chance for you to learn more new things that are going to benefit you greatly or to teach those things as well. So those themes are all yay you, and it's your social media houses, platforms, and your website all getting a nice little yay, 2 thumbs up, Siskel and Ebert Venus moment. And then but she did the death thing there, but she doesn't rise to visibility, and she can't execute any of that until she rises. And now she rises in Sagittarius in the first week of December, and it lasts until the beginning of August, where there's themes of the 5th house emerging as a place of goodness for you. That's your children, relating to your children, your joy, your independent business enterprise, your sexuality, your romantic life. Those are themes of yay you over the next few months. And because Venus is also collaborating with Saturn in the 7th house, there can be sustainable outcomes in your business through partnering with others in business or support from your spouse. And if you're single, this can bring an enduring new love story. For those single Leos, this is the archetype of a new and enduring love trying to emerge, a lasting love based on friendship, based on companionship, based on liking each other. Okay, that may try to emerge. If you're already in a relationship, okay, this is Venus trying to make it last by giving you the opportunity to find a joy spot. She's in her house of her joy. Venus is in her joy in the 5th house, a Hellenistic astrology style. So where is the joy spark, the fun and the play and the pleasure in an existing long-term relationship? A lot of Leos have been struggling with Saturn moving through the 7th house of committed love. He leaves in March and it'll lighten up, but maybe love has felt hard. Love is felt stoic and dutiful and difficult, and maybe your partner has been a downer, and now this is Venus trying to lighten it up. Now if it doesn't work, then Venus will bring somebody new into your life. Okay. You also have Mars, of course, opposite across the way in the 11th house, and this could be where you experience like a lot of intensity, will be now in December, but then it can last for a few months, regarding friends as allies, people who want to help you. And you could get a real leg up from the eldest sibling, if you have one, to support your independent business enterprise, to fire up some new love. For new love stories, if you're single, this can be a hot off the presses romance from somebody in your friendship circles. A friend becomes a lover, good rom-com stuff, or somebody in your friendship circles introduces you to someone, and boy, did the sparks fly. Normally, any new relationships, we're talking mostly December, but it could go all the way to August, that begins under this energy will have a burn hot really fast and end, but not with Saturn supporting in a wedge. This says, yes, it's got a lot of sexual chemistry, a lot of passion, a lot of exhilarating, lusty falling in love, and it can go the distance. So this is good for the singletons, for you single Leos. This is a possibility. It really can be, because it's baked in anytime between now and the beginning of August, but this is actually happening in December. So look for that as well during the first week or so of December. Your muse, Venus is the goddess of the arts, and this is a house of performing and the stage, and she is also the actress energy. Certainly for any of the creative artists who are Leonine rising, especially sun and moon secondarily, certainly you're getting a promise that over the 9 months ahead, your muse is on fire. You're hearing the muse, you're doing the thing, you got this, like you are with it. You are on fire with the muse. Okay. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. What's happening in the sky is that back in October, we had a Cazimi and Libra in your money house. This is like the way you earn the money you make. This is your like paycheck, your salary, then your possessions, like your car, your furniture. Sometimes your home can be a second house possession. I've seen that work. And it's your resources, the things that keep you, food, sheltered, and watered up. And Venus is a benefic. So she's giving you something really good here. It's her first star point in Libra since 1879. And so she's saying, we're going to fire you up on all cylinders for some new money wealth. And yet she can't deliver that until now when she's rising as the evening star. She's going to try to deliver it through legacy wealth, inheritances, real estate, property, creative actions you take from your home base, things you're doing in your home, things you do with women in your home. But certainly for some of you, this is a very classic potential window of 9 months in which, especially this is the house of the mother, but it can be either parent. So that's not necessarily irrelevant, but you could take possession of legacy wealth. Now you could also take possession of real estate, property, sale, buy, and those things can fortify you and strengthen you financially between the first week of December and early August. You also have Saturn, and he's stabilizing things from the sixth house, a stabilization of the things that are to do with the drudgery and the hard work. Like Saturn's working his ass off here. You've been working hard for 2.5 years in your professional endeavors, or if you're like my daughter, a student, working your ass off and holding down a job as well. So you've been working hard, and that will lighten up March 7th when Saturn leaves your sixth house. But the baked in promise from Venus is like, suddenly there's payoff financially from some of the hard work that you've been doing. And, you're going to find that it's less hard and more just good. Like you got money to put put behind, things. You don't have to work so hard anymore. And you also have Mars across the way baked in. Now, this can be a change in job, change in career, change in purpose. Mars brings change. He's in your 10th house. He's going to be there until the third week of March. So you are looking at the possibility that Venus is playing a role in a auspicious and prosperous change of direction in your career and purpose. Well, you stabilize things. And now debt, if you have debt, like, you owe money, credit cards, debts, loans, mortgages, some of that can stabilize with Saturn, Venus sextile through legacy wealth, through property, through things, again, you do that are Venusian from your home. Venus in the home, are you being artistic? Are you being, love, art, and beauty from the home? Can that be a possible new direction for some of you? She rules fashion, cosmetics, etc. Having a pet is a sixth house thing. I would say for some of you Virgos, there's a change around pets coming for you. And certainly Saturn here can mean that elder pets are passing between now and March, but there could be a new pet, a change regarding pets. There also is a possibility of something to do with a lease, that you may rent a property out, or that you may be leasing a new property. If you do lease something new, the promise between now and August, Venus's promise is that it's good for your finances. Long story short, she's trying to work your money story in a positive way between now and August 1st. Don't forget to hit my like button if you're watching in the chat box with me, and we're in a live premiere. You know the drill. Like. It helps my channel grow. And by the way, shout out to the crew, One Wise Lady and One Rare Bird and Stephen the Jupiterian. And I'm going to forget people. I love these wild names you guys have. They're just great. But shout out to all my regulars, LA Taylor from Scotland and Misbehaving from Scotland. And thank you guys for being a part of my world. I love to build community. That's the point. I'm an Aquarius rising. All right. Okay, I had to break away, but I'm back because I'm still getting over the flu. Well, I'm over it, but I still have a lingering cough, and I didn't want to cough in your faces. All right. I am recording, right? Oh my God, I apologize. Yes. The big break in the middle here. All right, moving on. Sorry, guys. There we go. Libra, sun, moon, and rising is your story, guys. It's your story to, it's your game to lose, basically. Okay. You know, you guys have the first time in, since 1879, Venus Cazimi'd in October in the sign of you, your body, your personality, who you are, your character on the sim, your avatar. You're a Libra rising, right? But it'll count for the sun and moon to some degree. All of the Libra energy people, sun, moon, or rising, get a new vibrant start of something blessed in their lives. Yay. And this is a story that Venus wants to say better health, better sense of identity, more effective and persuasive and beautiful you over the next few years. Actually, it's going to continue, but until August, this is a true story. So I mean, really seriously, this is like new wardrobe, better cosmetics, new hair. Some of you get some facial surgeries or, cosmeticize or beautify yourself. This is all going to happen for sure between now and August for some Libras. Going to make sure you look better and you feel better about how you look, and people find you more captivating. Now, all that aside, she can't deliver till she's visible, and she's rising as an evening star in the month of December. And she's rising in your third house. And so she says, in the second part of the story is, let me bless you in your relationships to your siblings, your aunts, uncles, cousins, your trips and travel, your online presence, your website, your skills-based learning and teaching. They say journeys, yeah, trips and travel. And sometimes your friendships from childhood as well. Your, high school and elementary friendships can be flourishing over the next few months. It means that when you do travel, things are going your way. There's good, successful outcomes from travel, and sibling relationships can really be highlighted as well, or traveling with friends or because of women or for women type things. Now, Saturn in your fifth house is sort of baking in a promise that some of this glorious travel and connection to the third house is going to be good for anyone who has their own online business or has their own independent entrepreneurial stuff. It's also good for your relationship with your children. And you can actually find that your relationship with your children is going to improve until over the months that follow until August. You can solidify grand, good friendship, new territories with your children. Love and romance that goes the distance, coming because you're traveling, because you're learning. Maybe you could have a bit of a sexual revival here, because Venus can pull that off, because Saturn's been dampening your sex life for 2.5 years, and Venus is trying to give you an uplift. I would say that Mars opposing in the 9th may have been challenging for travel, especially since he retrograded at the end of October. And if you do travel end of October to January 12th, excuse me, you're traveling to a place you've been before. For some of you single Libras, travel can lead to romance, and lasting romance at that, especially if you travel to a place you've been before. But travel in general can bring romantic love, or an existing romance can benefit from trips and journeys together. And if you're single, you can meet somebody new because you're traveling. And that's a promise until the beginning of August. And traveling can inspire you to get more creative and fire up a muse. It's been under sort of suppression with Saturn. Saturn is saying all your creativity has to have lasting value, has to go the distance, has to be perfect. And you're like, oh, this is so much to bear. And Venus is like, yeah, but let's lighten it up. A little trip away, a cottage, a writer's retreat, a change of the pace around where you live. Just give it a shift, and you're going to be re-inspired and re-creative. And this is true until August, right? So yay. Let's keep moving on. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, Scorpionic people, the general gist of this story for you is that Venus died in the heart of the sun, and she did that in your 12th house. And for a lot of Scorpios, it is the beginning of the end of your addictions. You're going to let go of the things you do that undo you. And so this story is now emerging as a possibility from December the 1st or so onwards to the beginning of August. Well, you'll see evidence of that. However, Venus also did a Cazimi in a house that's associated with foreign shores and lands. And for some of you, there could be an important story emerging between now and August to do with a country that is not the country of your birth, your origin of birth. And this is tricky for sometimes for people, right? My son's a Scorpio rising, he was born in the United States. Canada is a foreign country to him in that sense. So just consider what this may mean, that foreign nations and lands or whatever could have great value and promise for you until the beginning of August. Then Venus is also rising in your money house. This is your earnings, your flow, your cash, your salary, your paychecks, your possessions, your car, your furniture, maybe a home. And she's giving you some bonification and niceness and goodness here. So way better energies happening here for you. And new adventures, new horizons, new possibility, new hope financially for a lot of you Scorpio rising, especially as well. She's doing this with help from Saturn in the 4th house of legacy wealth, and with Mars in the 8th house for some, for sure. Scorpios, there's an inheritance coming. And so all I can tell you, you're going to get some legacy money potentially between now and August 1st, or the first week of August. Secondly, this is good for real estate deals, selling a property, buying a property, mortgages, financing, leveraging money, removing credit card debt. Getting an uplift financially, basically. And a lot of it is that Saturn 4th house energy has to do with real estate and property and legacy wealth. I know it's been hard. A lot of Scorpio people maybe felt burdened by their home, wanted to move, wanted to change it, maybe wanted to sell. They haven't been able to do that. Jupiter will enter, by the way, just a sidebar for you guys, December 20th until mid-May, your 6th house. And that can help you eliminate debt, but it can also help you find a new place to live. Should you be about selling or renting, especially renting, buying a place? Yes, that's the 4th house Saturn, or selling a place, but you may also lease that home out, rent it to someone else, or rent a new place yourself. There's a lot to do with property and property that can be leased, bought, or sold for a lot of Scorpio rising coming through. And Venus is like, I got the money for you. It's all good. Or we're going to up level your possessions, better car, better home, better living accommodations, that kind of thing. It's a lot of money energy for you that's improving. And anything to do with land and home and real estate, Saturn is very legacy and lasting value. If you're going to purchase a property, it's likely with Venus's help, that's going to be a place that you want to stay in for a long, long time. If you have had an elder in the home, Saturn in the 4th can mean an elder's been living with you. So this could be moving the elder out, having the funds to move the elder into their own place, or move away from hosting an elder in the home. And I think that's it. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. For Sagittarius people, oh, can I go back for a minute? I apologize. Yeah, I did it all. For Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Venus died in the heart of the sun in your 11th house. Big changes, positive changes in your social group, social networks, friends and belonging, allies, even some great gains from your career. And that's true until the beginning of August. At the same time, she's delivering some of those goods because she's rising now, and she's visible in the house of you. This is your identity, your body, your sense of self. Okay, so this is good for you, of course, to look better and to feel more beautiful, just like the Libras, to feel more handsome, more beautiful, more persuasive. It's good for your health, especially. Your health can improve between now and next August. There's a promise Venus is giving you here to sort of beautify, bonify, and improve your physical health. Now, she's also talking to Saturn in your 3rd house, and they're flowing in a sextile. There may be some significant positive developments in local neighborhood environments, trips and travel, and journeys that involve shorter trips and travel over the next few months. But there's also Mars firing up from the 7th. It can mean that if you're single, a hot new love story can emerge over the next 9 months or so. Yay, how exciting. And it may happen because you're on a trip. But if you're already with somebody and there's been tension, and I wouldn't be surprised for some Sagittarius risings, that's true, because Mars here has been really gnarly since August 20th and will continue to be there till March. You're going back over old ground, maybe in a relationship, trying to work out the details and the kinks of business and love relationships, trying to figure out why there's tension, where the conflict is coming from. Is your partner upset? Is your partner unhappy? And maybe this Venus rising is giving you the tools you need to sort of smooth it over, especially regarding third house things. Now, third house is education as well. Maybe you want to educate, or your partner wants to educate themselves, and you're giving them the tools they need to do that, to support them in getting a skills-based education of some sort. I do know one Sagittarius sun with his wife, who she may need to go back and educate herself to find a new career, but a skills-based job. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but who knows? Because right now she doesn't have any particular calling or directional thing on her work. You could also find yourself really connecting to siblings and establishing a new level of friendliness with a sibling and uncle, cousin, niece, and nephew in a very positive way in the 9 months that follow. Legal contracts and affairs can also go your way, but wait until you get Mercury out of Sag. That's going to be at I think the end of the month of December. Then things are smoother in order not to be befuddled and confused about the details. But then you get some kind of Venus allowing you to sign contracts that can be very well in your favor over the 9 months that follow. These are legal contracts that can be about marriages, partnerships and business, and even separation agreements, if that's the way things are going for you. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. So Venus died in the heart of the sun in your career house. This is your visible reputation. Your 10th house is also the actions, the praxis you take in the world that people witness you doing. There's a big change going here. It's a place of Venus's death and rebirth. She died there, but she's being reborn, right? Because that happened in October on the 22nd, to show you the visible results as she rises in your 12th house. Now, 12th house is about the hidden realms of your own inside job, your past lives, your psyche, your sort of subconscious, maybe unconscious mind. But it also has to do with foreign shores and lands, and revenue we also can generate from foreign shores and lands. So there could be some financial upticks for some Capricorns because of something to do with foreign shores and lands, changing your career and reputation, and maybe in generating a new career in and from or because of a foreign land. Venus is definitely saying that also, if you ever had any hidden enemies, women who didn't have your back or female, this is the end of that story. Venus is rising here. So it's kind of like, okay, enough of that. Find the women who really got your back and let's get rid of the rest. Saturn says something similar: only the best, only the enduring, only the lasting, only the most valuable stuff to do with women in your life. Or females in your life. And then, Saturn has been kind of making you work hard for your money and be conservative with your spending in your second house. But with some bonification energy now, Venus is sextiling Saturn. You're finding ways to be more to leverage the money you do have, to value and maybe upgrade your life because of the possessions you have or don't have, because you can sell possessions, right? You may want to sell your fancy car that you never use and invest the money instead of having depreciating in your driveway. Venus is going to give you the sensibility for that. And certainly it's going to be a soft touch better for your financial flow and possessions over the next 9 months with this Venus position. And with Mars in your 6th house, you're definitely eliminating health challenging things that you do and exercising a bit more. And you may find a passionate new exercise path that really excites you, as well as change your job, basically, because this old job isn't working for you. And maybe this is going to allow you to work remotely or work in another country or something like that. It's definitely really good for eliminating, with Venus's help, though, more of that self-undoing, self-sabotaging stuff. Venus in the 12th house, insane asylums and hospitals, and when Mars across the way in his joy. I mean, you're cutting away all the things that could put you in a sane asylum or hospital. And Venus is saying, like, no, let's not do that. Let's take a smoother route so that we just don't do those things that could cause, you to fall completely apart and need to go to the hospital. All right. When Mars goes direct January 12th, then you'll get more clarity about some of these themes. And definitely looks like a change of job, a change of work routine, change of health and health protocols. And then me, Aquarius rising, us Aquarius rising people, then sun and moon secondarily. So the death of Venus in the heart of the sun in the ninth house is interesting. I don't know what it's going to mean for me. It's a book publishing house. I'm getting back to revising a book. So maybe there's a return over the next 9 months to this idea of publishing a book. This is a house of foreign travel and lands. I would love to travel back to Scotland. I haven't been there for a few years, but so foreign shores, foreign lands, and travel are a place where Venus died in the heart of the sun, giving us some clues that there's some good stuff happening there. Also, this is a house of teaching. I do teach classes. This is a house of our dharma. It's our spiritual beliefs, our social philosophy, our wisdom. Those things belong to the ninth house, and intercosmos, metacosmos, between the world's house. And so Venus is giving us a 2 thumbs up there for this is a very auspicious part of our sky, actually until 2026. But this is the first iteration until next August, the beginning of August. And then we also see Venus rising in December of this year, saying, and a lot of the action is happening through the 11th. Now, the 11th is a great gains from our career, not the everyday paycheck, but like a lot of good, like the ka-chings, where we really accelerate and accentuate the greater gains of reputation and larger financial gains from the 10th house actions that we're taking, as well as Venus here can say friends who benefit you, who are likely female, are going to be very important parts of the narrative over the next few months until the month of August. This is a financially windfall house. Pennies from heaven can happen here. Karmic and cosmic rewards. Venus is a goddess of money, so there's no two ways about it. Some Aquarians may encounter over this next 9 months, sometime between December and August, a windfall of some sort financially. At the same time, Saturn in the first house, sober-minded, realistic that we are, really doing the dutiful and responsible things right now, as Saturn is in the house of us, getting ready to leave in March. I bet you a lot of us feel shoulder pain, right? I do, because I'm bearing the Saturnian responsibility for 2.5 years. But anyway, it's good for our health because we're getting serious about our health. And now Venus is saying, and the rewards are here. The things that have happened because we're serious about our body, about our identity, about our goals, about who we are. We have to participate in this goodness, but Saturn is bringing us what we need in terms of the rewards, financially, reputation. Like it's a bit of a fame placement. Famous people often have Venus in the 11th. And if you acquire fame, I wouldn't be surprised, or micro celebrity for some Aquarius risings over the next 9 months. And Mars in your 5th house is definitely helping you. First of all, it's a house of romantic love. And, for a single Aquarius, anybody you meet in the next 9.5 months can fire up a great deal of excitement, a real generation of passion and romance, and a real fired up chemistry, right? This is not like, oh, this is like being swept off your feet. But on the other hand, Saturn says, and it's stable and it will last, and it's not a fly by night thing. It has the legs to stand on. So that's kind of cool. If you're in a relationship, it can fire up a new passion there. I think it's funny because as soon as Saturn retrograded, a relationship that was starting out, that began when Saturn first entered my 5th house of romance, our 5th house of romance in August, fizzled out. Saturn went retrograde and rolled back the promise, right? And thank gosh, because now I'm like sober-minded and like kind of came to my senses about this whole thing. But I would say that there's a second relationship. If you have what I had, a misfire, almost, but not quite, this isn't going to turn it into something new. It's not probably the same relationship. Something new is definitely coming for the single Aquariuses. Your children are the 5th house. And, Mars tends to denest children if they're at home when he's going through there. You can forge a new directional type of shift of relationship with a child. It's more harmonious, more celebratory, more joyful, more playful, more mutually satisfying as a result of this transit, so that by next August, you may say, in essence, my children are my friends. I love to adventure with my children. My children are my greatest rewards. These are stories that can be coming out of your mouth by next August. If you have your own business, which I do, Mars is the entrepreneurial spirit in the house of independent business enterprise. Of course, he's retrograde until January, so I've just been doing the same old. But once he goes direct on January 12th, for a lot of entrepreneurial Aquarians, we're going to start something new. And it's going to be very lucrative. It's going to add great financial gain to our career story. So get ready for that. And that's part of Saturn, Venus now. As she rises, she's stabilizing and promising that. We need Saturn, Mars direct. That's not until January, but this is a story that can take until, next August to show up. But it's good for greater financial gain from our career, but usually because there's a new direction in our entrepreneurial businesses that we're going to add or take, and wait for Mars January 12th direct to know, I guess, what that might be, and get a sense of it between January 12th and March the 7th. And that's when he leaves our 5th house. By the way, teaser for my 2023 all sign videos. I mean, Mars and Venus will be in Leo, and Venus will be there June, July, August, September next year. And Mars will be there in the June, July timeframe. Talk about summer love and had me some fun. So a lot of us are going to be in a deeply, profoundly exciting romance next summer. You can see it. Now, of course, if you're married, it could just pick up the pace of and the enchantment within the existing relationship. All right, Pisces, you guys, the fish, you have this story of Venus dying in the heart of the sun. And she did that in your 8th house of other people's money, spousal money, inheritance money, bank loans, debts, grants, stipends, whatever, other money that you don't paycheck out into your life. And this is a promise. There's something good trying to happen here. Some good chunky money is being delivered to you over the next 9 months. And now that Venus is visible in the first week of December, shining brightly as she rises, well, shining in the low horizon after the sun sets, but eventually getting higher and higher as the summer progresses. She starts off, in your 10th. And so it's like your career reputation house is where this is going to show you a clear signal of how some of the financial goodness can escalate. Now you could change your job, you could get promoted, you could get a raise. Those sorts of things can happen with this placement over the next 9 months until early August. Saturn also says, well, if you make money from overseas and foreign shores, if you generate PayPal and Stripe revenue, let me help you solidify that from your career. And maybe the 8 house chunky money is even about your spouse getting some chunky money to give you more freedom in your career to generate money that you wish to do, or directions you wish to go in. Women in places of power within career structures will be supporting you over the next 9 months. Favors from those women, benefits from those women, promotions and raises from those women. Mars is opposite in the 4th house. This could be about tension and conflict with someone in your home. And that's going to be also, though, a potential place of goodness because there's a wedge here. And so maybe you're going to do construction, change your home, work on a home and move your home, but it will benefit you financially and it will benefit you in your career. And Venus is up there saying, we want this career thing to be also very auspicious, but it may involve a change of home because Mars will be there until March. And that will be clear or evident by August. As well, 8th house money can be mortgage money. And Mars is participating with Venus in the rising in the 10th. It could be some really lucky breaks through people in power, helping you acquire a very significant deal on some kind of mortgage. Now, the 10th house is a house of the father. So even though Venus is feminine energy, you could have some financial breaks from a patriarchal figure regarding home, land, real estate, and mortgages if you are a Pisces rising, especially sun and moon secondarily. Lastly, sometimes Mars in the 4th house in association with Venus, the Lord of the 8th house of inheritances, can mean that there's a pending inheritance because of a passing of an elder in the family, especially with Mars trine Saturn baked in. Saturn is the elder, the senex, the wise man, the grandfatherly figure. So if there's such a figure in your life as a Pisces rising sun or moon, this could be also saying some of the money story that Venus is trying to give you in the 8th house, that's where she died in the heart of the sun, would be delivered by August next year, may come from some bequeathment of some sort. So I hope that was useful. If you're still with me in the chat box in the premiere, please hit the like button. I can't believe I got through this whole thing without coughing my brains out. It's post flu. Thanks guys for listening. Check my description box. My all signs videos are going to go on sale on December the 10th. I do them privately. I never just put them on YouTube, but they're affordable. I hope you'll help support me. But I will do an all signs overview video, and it will be coming up pretty soon, going through each sign and spending about 10 minutes with each sign. So it's a longer 2-hour video I'll be doing for you. And I'm looking forward to doing that one as well as the teaser for the in-depth all sign video. I used to do these pigtails when I was a kid, and my mother used to call me Pippi Longstockings, you know, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should go back there for a while and just playfully get back into my Pippi Longstocking vibe. And I can tell I had the flu because I look all baggy, even with the filter I have on, but I'm just not going to be perfect anymore. I'm not going to be perfect anymore. Thanks, guys. I'm babbling. Thanks for listening. Check the description box, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. Share my channel if you like what I'm doing with friends and family. All right. Ciao, ciao.